Madam Cool, fellow Cools, and fellow guests. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this special collaboration. In fact, I've heard so many great things about these clubs that I have longed to be here. I've mentioned to Steve a number of times, I'd love to come visit this club and meet and hear all the great talent in this club, so thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. And so when I received the invitation, there's two things I did. The very first thing I did was I prayed and said, God, tell me what it is you'd like for me to talk about today. And the second thing I did, actually, was to go online and map out to make sure I can actually find the location. And I was a little bit concerned, to tell you the truth. After I mapped it out, I saw that I had to go through Trophy Club. Now, I don't know if you people have the same experience, but in my area of town, Trophy Club is known as aggressive ticketers. They give a lot of tickets in that area. And I'm kind of phobic about that. To tell you the truth, I really wasn't going to talk about this, but since I brought it up, let me explain. I'm originally from San Antonio area, and I worked at a large corporation called USAA. We have a huge campus just like this. And I had a friend, his name was Rodney, and he and I, every day we had to go through this area of town called Leon Valley, which is also aggressive ticketers, to get to work every day. And Rodney, he moved from California to Texas, and you know how those guys drive in California. Anyway, Rodney would go the same way to work every day. And he'd drive through that Leon Valley, he'd come to a stop sign, and being from California, they have what they call the California roll. So he would look through, see no one's going, and then he'd just go on through. Well, again, Leon Valley, those constables are out there. I remember the guy pulled him over, wrote him a ticket, and Rodney tried to explain to him, saying, listen, I'm from California. There, you go to the stop sign, you slow down, and if no cars are there, you just go on through. Well, the constable wasn't impressed. And he explained, listen, you're in Texas now, so you're going to stop at that stop sign, and to help you remember, I'm going to write you a ticket. Next day, Rodney, going to USAA, gets to that stop sign, slows down, goes through. Same constable pulls him over, looks at him and says, aren't you the same guy I just wrote a ticket yesterday? He said, yeah, as I told you yesterday, stop, slow down, it's the same thing. The constable says, no it's not, write you another ticket. Third day, slow down, go through, constable again. Constable's irate by this time, writes him a ticket and says, I don't ever want to see you here again. Fourth day, Rodney goes through, stop, slow down. This time the constable is absolutely livid. He just runs up to Rodney's car, pulls open the door, pulls Rodney out the car, starts beating him over the head. Rodney says, stop, 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 stop. The constable says, let's get this straight. Do you want me to stop or slow down? So that's not really what I want to talk about. But since I started on that trophy club, I thought I'd just share it. But what I'd really like to talk to you today, really about the kinds of things that Jill brought up, that your Toastmaster brought up, Felicia, and that is the 10 years anniversary. And what does it take to get from starting a club to where you are right now, celebrating 10 years? You know, 10 years, that's really monumental when you think about it. The average small business in the United States only lasts 4 years. You know? The average marriage in the United States lasts for 8 years. The average laptop that they build, although I've never seen this happen, lasts for only 4 years. And the average 5-year-old, average age is only 5 years old. Did you know that? So 10 years is monumental. So what does it take to not only make it that far or to be successful as a club, but what does it take to be successful as a profession? What does it take to be successful in your personal life? That's the kind of things I'd like to share with you today. And I've actually done a lot of research on this. And I've learned that millions of people spend billions of dollars every year for the answer to those secrets of success. And believe it or not, the secrets come back to the things that you heard and learned when you were just a little kid. Let me give you an example. There's three ways to get from starting to celebrating. One, if at first you don't succeed, try again. So you heard this before, right? Don't quit, recommit. Never give up. The thing is, however, is that we've heard those phrases so much from the time we were just children that for many of us, these phrases have become trite and hackneyed. Well, my goal this afternoon is to breathe new life into those words and to use those words to inspire you to your next celebration as a club, in your career, or in your personal life. Felicia asked the question just before I came up here. She says, think back to your first. Well, that got me thinking. My first year as a Toastmaster. As it was mentioned earlier, I've been a Toastmaster for 10 years. And I will never, ever forget that first year as long as I live. In fact, the very first year I joined Toastmasters, I participated in a speech contest called the International Speech Contest. Anybody here, you guys are familiar with that, right? Okay, for just in case we have guests, if you don't know about the International Speech Contest, this is really huge for public speakers because it starts at a club level on up to a possibility of winning the best public speaker in the world. And to me, that's kind of exciting. So in my very first year as a Toastmaster, I actually participated in that contest, and I was fortunate enough to make it up to the regional level. That is one step from competing with the final 10 for the best public speaker in the world. And I'll never forget it. I remember it took place in Nevada. Huge room, thousands of people in there. I'd already listened to 3 great speeches, and then they called my name. And I run up to the stage. I didn't trip. That's always a good sign. I started my speech in with a joke, and they laughed. Yes! Already I started thinking, what should I wear to the World Championship contest? When about a minute into my speech, my mouth started to feel a little bit dry, but I didn't let that bother me. But then, and I will never, ever forget the order in which this happened. My top lip stuck to my top teeth. And then my bottom lip stuck to my bottom teeth. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'm competing against all these great speakers and my lips are stuck to my teeth. Well, I thought what I would do is take my tongue and move my lip from my teeth. Well, I shouldn't have done that, because now my tongue was stuck to my lip and my teeth. By this time, I don't know what I was saying. I don't even think they know what I was saying. Because if they knew what I was saying, they'd hear me say, well, somebody please get my lip and tongue off my teeth. Finally, I just, in my mind, gave up. Stopped thinking, wiped my mouth, worked up some saliva, and swallowed. I finished the speech. And they applauded too. I walked straight off the stage, out of the auditorium, to the elevator, pushed the button, up to my room, closed the door, turned off the lights, and sat down on the sofa. And these were the very first words that came out of my mouth. I quit. I decided then and there, I will never, ever get up in front of a group of people and speak again. I mean, think about this. It was humiliating. It was infuriating. It was go from life to death. I went from giving up to just inspiration, and all sorts of great thoughts flowed into my mind that I began to write on the paper for my next speech. And as I began to write, I began to think about many other people in life who have failed before becoming successful. I started thinking about people like Thomas Edison, who would not give up until he could see the light. Or Abraham Lincoln, who would not give up despite the fight. And as my mind commenced to commemorate all those things, I actually just stopped and laughed at myself. Because here I was, acting desperate and frustrated and humiliated about a speech contest. And you know, there are people in life right now who are going through a lot more than losing a speech contest. I mean, I thought about people who had worked hard all their life, had developed all the skills that they needed in life, and yet were unemployed. I thought about people who had dreams of having a great family, of raising kids up, and of really just being a blessing to a community, who right now can't even get their teenagers to listen to them. And I realized right there that success is really not an achievement or an award. It is just making it through all the failures in life and coming out into a celebration, the kind of celebration that you have today. Do you know, I bet, and I've not been a part of this club, but I bet there were times, especially in a corporate club, that this membership got down real low. Maybe there were layoffs, maybe some things took place, and you could have just packed up, but you kept going on. And so success is not the winning of a lotto. It is the achievement and taking on of a lot to do. And so we must all recognize the concept of success being like climbing a ladder. One that, even if you fall, must be climbed. So that if you climb that rung and you find your membership is actually dwindling, or the excitement may be going away, brush yourself off, start all over, reignite, find the passion, and climb again. If in your career you find that it has become stagnant, that you're not in the position or the place that you dreamed and you wanted to be, don't give up. Pick yourself up, brush yourself off, and get back up that ladder and climb again. If in your personal life you find that things aren't going right in your marriage or in your family or in your spiritual walk, don't give up. Brush yourself off. Get back up on that ladder and climb back up to the top. Because only from atop that ladder can you truly enjoy, hear, and appreciate the sweetest sounds of success, which are, if at first you don't succeed, try again.